welcome to Draw Academy Live. Make sure this is all set up here. Still figuring out the live stuff. Looks like I got it working. Welcome. This is Draw Academy Live, a draw along show where you draw along and learn. Today I'm going to be using graphite and a sketchbook. So if you have those materials, go ahead and pull them out. You can learn more about Draw Academy by going to drawacademy.net, where you do private art lessons. And also, the main thing I'm trying to do for the show is make it kind of like a public art lesson. So I really want to just increase the viewership and get people on board. If you have friends, tell them about the show so they can draw. So it's a totally free lesson. So let's get started. Flip this guy around. Alright, so try to figure out a new kind of camera setup. Oh, there's my sketch pad. Oh yeah. Okay, this setup should be a little bit better. Be able to move around the camera. Funny, one day this is going to be figured out. Okay, I think that's good. Yes, perfect. Okay. So today, this episode of Draw Academy Live, we are going to be talking about a couple techniques that will help you with your proportions and drawing images accurately. So we're going to be talking about something called line of action. And I figured out how to do, let's see, don't fuck it up. Yeah, there we go. We're going to be drawing this guy. And I have the image there for you to view on the side. Perfect, cool. So go ahead, get out your sketchbook and your graphite, and we're going to work on drawing this character is from Satoshi Matsura, which is a really cool artist. Originally found him on ArtStation, but he has a lot of really fun characters. So you can explore it and so the initial setup, the line of action we're talking about, is just drawing a straight line to figure out kind of the height of the character and the direction that he's going. And you can see, I'll just run through this and do the drawing. You can follow along. I'm going to put down other lines where his legs are, his arms are. So I'm doing a general setup here. They're all kind of important, especially the arms, leg, body, the head, and any other like really notable parts like the sword and the sheath. So there's the initial setup. And then from there, I can go in and kind of flesh this out. And then at this point, inside the initial setup, I'm just looking at the general shapes. We need to go into too much detail here, but let's just kind of block them in. Slow it down. There we go. And see how I'm just taking those lines and making it a bit thicker, and outlining them, doing a very straight down. And if I didn't do those line of actions at the beginning, then this would be a lot harder to be really accurate. Just kind of be guessing at where to put these lines. There are tiny feet. There's just some other details. We can really spend a long time messing around with this guy. There's really quickly improving stuff. There we go. Basic setup of the character. Much more accurate than if we were to just draw without the line of action. Cool. So let's talk about exactly what the line of action is. I'm going to switch this. All right. So this line of action setup is, again, figuring out the height of the character. So you saw at the beginning, I was just doing his body, and I used a line that was straight down. Why did I do that? Because that is the angle of his body. It's just going straight up and down. It looks like an eye shape. Now, what you can remember is that there's only a few basic shapes. You don't want to get super complicated when you're doing these lines of actions. So I'll show you once again this guy right here, straight up and down, just a eye shape. The other options that you can have, and then it becomes an S shape. The way to remember this is just the three letters. So it's C, S, or I. Just like the really crappy TV show, C, S, or I are the only three letters you need to know for drawing lines of action and setting up your characters. So I can show you a couple more examples. We can look for a C or an S. Let me see, I got a couple more from Satoshi here I can throw up. Let's see, there's a big guy. This guy's fine. Okay, cool. This one's a good example. So we have this, like, I don't know, he's like a hyena type dude. Kind of bat-like. I don't know, he's like a hyena. Okay, so drawing this guy, I'll pull him up as well. Just like that, perfect. So drawing this character, we're gonna use the same thing, but what letter shape is he? He is going to be he's kind of S-like, actually. He's kind of all over the place. If I look at him, just for the body though, let's keep it simple. Let's just do him like a C. So if you look at his body, it is kind of like a C shape. It's not like a really hard C, like a letter C, but it is kind of like that. So that will be our start off. So let me find a little bit more room on my page here. Yeah, so there you go. I got the camera down. Much better than last week. Still not great, better than last week. So we can ask for. Alright, so looking at this character, we can go through kind of the same motion, and we can draw the body setup. Okay, so we have like kind of a general C shape, and then looking at the rest of him, I can let's do the legs first. We got like kind of hips are right there, and then legs go like and all I'm doing is I'm looking at the image and figuring out the general angle and shape. You can do arms as well. I like doing these characters that are like very exaggerated because if you're just drawing normal people, you don't have to see all of these kind of like crazy angles. It's much more subtle. So as a beginner artist, I like to have my students work with very cartoony figures, and it makes like some of these phenomena, the CSNI, much more obvious. There's a bow, a sword. Okay, so we have basic setup for the character. And then if I wanted to, I can go in and flesh this out. And when I do the body, then I'm just basically I'm going around the lines that I've already done. Same thing for the arm. Right, so we already have like a little setup there, so it makes the rest infinitely easier. And we can just try doing a bunch of these. I recommend that if you're just learning this line of action. Excuse me. If you're just learning this, then you should just do a bunch of very simple sketches. So deliberate practice. Only work on line of action until you feel comfortable with it. You don't need to do a finished drawing to get better. You can just focus on this one technique. So let's pull up a couple others. I showed you a little bit of a preview of the other ones that I had here. There's the pig guy. So this is fun. Again, we have a character which is not totally human. It has 4 arms and 2 legs. And that's actually a really good opportunity for us to practice. So the shape of his body is going to be an eye shape because you're thinking about the spine going up and down. And so I can just draw an eye shape. And then I can draw around the hips and then the shoulders. And put the legs on. And then we can do some fun stuff and work on the arms. We got one set like that, and then like that, and then there, and then there. And so when I'm drawing these lines, I'm just looking at the image and kind of looking at the angles. Even though an arm just has an elbow here, there's only a couple of breaks. I'm looking at just kind of the motion of what it looks like. There's no like right amount of lines or incorrect amount of lines, but it's just to give you that scaffolding, so you can figure out the flow of the image. It is better to have fewer lines, but whatever kind of gets you there is important. Okay? So there's our initial setup. I'm going to do like a hat too, and that is pretty representative of our image. And again, I could go in and flesh that out, but we're just practicing line of action right now. So let's hop over to another one. And this one is also fun because it is very exaggerated. These proportions and very not human. The primitive form, I'm sweating in here. Hats. Okay, this character, same thing. Eye shape, very, very tall eye shape. And then he's got his shoulders are actually way the hell up there. Arms. tips are going in. But just make the mouth. Things like you can right there. Right, basic setup for him. You can go in, you can use these line of action. Sometimes you want to keep those line of action um, in the center when you flush out the arms. But sometimes, like you move it too far over, it's okay to use that as the line for the arm. Again, they're just scaffolding. You can always change and amend when you're working. There you go. Here's excited for that guy. Thank you, line of action. All right, let's do another one. How about this guy? So I wanted to show you guys an example of a character that we can draw that is not human at all, but is very far removed. So even in something that's not humanoid at all, we can use our line of action. And that's because we're going to stick with the same principles. We're just using a concept to draw things. And if the concept works, then it can work with anything. And so for this guy, what do you guys think? What shape does he need? I feel like maybe the overall flow is kind of like a C shape, but this time the C is not this way. It's like a upside down C. And then, you know what? I think we could push this guy to be an S. So you can kind of have this motion to it. Like his head goes up a little bit, and then his back goes up a lot of it. I think that's going to be pretty accurate. Yeah, there we go. There's an S for you. And then we can draw the rest of him. This is kind of in the center of his body, so we can go the arm. And then just checking the angle. The lines are always perfectly straight. These have a little bit of a curve to them. The back legs. Very S-like. And the C in the back over there. And that's actually kind of the basic setup. That's all you really need for him. I'd say we could also like maybe put his horns. There you go. Basic setup for a Triceratops guy. Did him already. Alright, got another dragon. Why don't we do this dragon? This one looks like a fun one. And we can do a completed image. That'll be fun. So what I'm going to do, so for this guy, same thing. We'll do the initial setup. And what letter do you think this guy is? He's a dragon, very snake-like. Definitely has an estimate of that. The overall flow of our dragon. legs down. Here's the tail. And then we can start fleshing out the body. So very, very boxy. Feet down. It's usually easiest to start with the legs too. It's like the foundation of a house. You want to get those down first. Everything else we can fix and follow suit. Not too far over, so it's good out there. And you're always adjusting. So no line is final until it's final. Something is off a little bit, you can always change it. No shame in erasing. Again, just kind of following the initial lines that I set down. I should have been more back into the wings too, so before I draw those, it makes sense to length of action. What is the general shape of the wing, and then what direction to the other parts stick off to. Doesn't have to be perfect, just needs to be a general marker, just a foundation. And if you guys have questions, you can ask them. That is one of the big components of why I want this to be a live show, is so that you guys can participate and ask questions and be involved. That way I'm not just talking the whole time. I'm happy to talk the whole time. I can do it. Um, but if there's certain things you guys have questions on, want extra clarification, want to talk about something else that's kind of adjacent to this, it's a really good reason to tune into the live show and ask questions. So if you're watching this after the fact and it's not live, I stream every Tuesday at 8 p.m. Do one action for the horns. Yeah, I'm forgetting you one action for lots of things. But that's okay. Maybe it's okay. Yeah, yeah, kind of working better this week. Just found a better way to set it up on this one. Really useful. I could use a lot. But, And then just put in some of the details. Still you can use line of action for like your teeth. I like to set up that line first before I fill it in. It's a lot easier than like straight shading line. Some of the smaller details don't matter as much though, unfortunately. But you see how it's very useful to know. That's why my dragon didn't end up off the page, right? If I would have drawn him and just like started with the head and so drawn down, like I don't know, he may have ended off the page here, off the page there, maybe would have cut in there, but I was setting up the line of action first. I knew exactly what he was going to be plotted on the page. Okay, I'm just going to fill this in. If you remember from last week, I think this is a 4 value, so I'm just filling it in, nice and dark. That's going to give our dragon some depth. Same thing back here, nice 4 value. If you didn't catch last week, it is still up on YouTube. So whenever I do these live shows, I'm going to have them available after the fact, so you guys can watch them. Again, the good thing about catching it live is the ability to ask questions and be involved. And a lot of other details we go into. He has like all these little, I don't know if it's like the wrinkles or like the hair that's sticking off in the back, the dragon hair. I don't know. Alright, here you go. Start to a dragon. Nice job, guys. Alright, shall we try another one? Why don't we do, here is a real life person. This is from sketchdaily.com. It's a really useful site for doing figure drawing. And it just pulls up random images for you. And you're able to sketch them and practice. Again, very good, useful tool for practicing line of action. So let's flip my sketchbook over here, get some fresh sheet of paper. So, cool. So for this guy, line of action, how are we going to do this? Same rules apply. He's following the CS or I. He has a more of an I shape, but I'd say it's kind of in between. So that's a good thing to note too, is that it's not always just straight CS or I. But it can be a very extreme C, it could be an eye that's perfectly straight, or one that's a bit bent. I would say for him, he's got an eye shape, but it's got a little bit of a bend to it. That's going to be for his body. And it's where his hips are, and get his legs. Just pay attention to all the angles. Feet. Forward. And they're pushing it a little bit more too. He's got a little bit more attitude. We want to make our drawings not copies of the photos, but better versions of them. So, there you go. So, first setup to doing a figure drawing is the line of action. Let's try another one. All right, so this one is good action pose. Let's see, so same thing. And an eye shape. With there's a lot of very weird and random photo references on these sites. So I'm glad that it's been mostly normal so far. Left leg. Right arm. Arms, just looking at the angles. The head. There you go. Initial setup of line of action. Why don't we try one more? All right, nothing weird, nothing weird. Well, a little weird. Kind of weird. Super weird. Is that death, but with a fucking weed whacker? That's what I'm talking about, guys. Weird stuff. Okay, kind of weird, but maybe I think we could do this one. Okay, so good. So for her, very extreme kind of C shape. This is good. I like this one because it is really extreme, so I can show off like how useful line of action is and just dissecting the photos. Again, it's good to just practice doing just this. You don't have to draw a full figure because that can be really daunting. But just figuring out kind of the general motion of the figure is really useful. Okay, so there you go, basic setup. Now I can flesh it out a little bit. Maybe line action for the feet as well. Depending on how long they are and what direction they're facing. But this setup with the other screen there is much more effective for the game on my iPad, like it was last week. But it's definitely the way to go. I think in future episodes, I want to have like music going on too, and all kinds of good ideas. Like taking this kind of slow, figuring out the live stream thing one step at a time. Again, like the most useful thing that you guys could do besides sign up for art lessons is tell your friends about the live stream. Again, it's just like it's a free lesson. All I want is for people to come, hang out, do art with me, ask me questions. You guys got friends that do that, like that's what I'm looking for. Let's build a community of people who like to draw and meet up every Tuesday. Have a good time. But there's the basic setup or like kind of the silhouette of the figure. We could go in, do a lot more detail on this. But again, our focus this week was just for line of action, the initial setup. You can see how much I like kind of moved and had to shift her with the initial setup, but it's very important that I have that initial foundation so I know exactly where to put things. And there you go. You can use line of action for drawing realistic figures. You can do it for cartoon characters. Um, you have four arms, dragons, doesn't matter. Very useful. Too close. Too close. Isn't it pretty? Okay, guys. Thank you for watching. Um, we're gonna call it here. Thanks for practicing. Again, Draw Academy Live, we're doing every week Tuesday at 8. I'm be covering a new topic every time. I hope you're able to draw along this week and learn some good stuff too. So thank you for your practice, and we'll see you next week.